you on a dark or empty path seeking answers. Watch this video exposing the dark lies, deceiving many to the truth.
So let's do a little quick review here. Chet is the letter that both separates and connects. This is what we learned at the very end, the conclusion of the last message. That Chet is the letter that separates and connects. It follows the plow, Zayin, of the spirit that dwells deep in old man and separates even the bone and the marrow. Let me stop there for just a moment. We learned when we were doing Zayin that it's like a plow, which if you've ever seen a plow in a field, it separates the ground so that it can be seeds can be planted for crops, and that's what the Zayin does for us. It separates, and it causes us to make a decision. Okay, now which gets into this is Chet. This is the next letter, and the reason why this Chet leads into Chet is because what happens is Zayin opens up the heart or plows the heart to make it fertile for the planting of Yahweh's word. Then we have Chet, which is separates and connects. Okay, it separates good and bad, and of course we see over and over again in Scripture about good and evil, and that's what this does. Chet separates. And then we get into Chet, which is the snake in the basket, the letter of decision. This is the Hebrew alphabet for Chet. On the right you see the modern Hebrew or the post-Babylonian script Hebrew. And on the left there you see the Pictograph Hebrew, which looks like a O with an X in it, which represents a basket or a snake in the basket. Once the sword of the Spirit, this is what we concluded with last week. Once the sword of the Spirit comes into your life and separates and creates a fence, you need to make a decision. If it's a bad decision, then you'll be stuck in that basket, which is what the letter Chet is. If you make the right decision, then you can go to the next letter, which is Yod. Isn't it interesting how all these letters lead one right into the other? Zayin leads into Chet, which leads into Chet, which leads into Yod. Okay, which Yod is the right hand power of Almighty Yahweh. Let's look at it. Here again we have the modern or post-Babylonian script on the right, and we have on the left we have the Pictograph Hebrew of the Chet. Each of the verses in the ninth stanza in the Psalms 119 starts with the letter Chet. The letter Chet means to surround. And these 8 verses tell us that when Yahweh teaches us discriminant and knowledge, we will be able to distinguish the good from the lies, which is verse 69. That surround us. When we know that Yahweh is good and does what is good, we'll want to learn His statutes. Psalms 119 verses 65 through 72.
Thou hast dealt well with thy servant, O Yahweh, according unto thy word. Teach me good judgment and knowledge, for I believe thy commandments. Before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now I have kept thy word. Thou art good and doest good. Teach me thy statutes. The proud have forged a lie against me, but I will keep thy precepts with my whole heart. Their heart is as fat as grease, but I will delight in thy Torah. It is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might learn thy statutes. The Torah of thy mouth is better unto me than thousands of gold and silver.
Okay, so we see in these scriptures how the good versus the evil, or the lies. Here's a good example of the letter Chet. This letter, it's a snake in a basket, which that there is a cobra, and it's exactly what it means. It's to surround or to twist. A snake in a basket or a decision. Now, of course, if you're in a basket with a snake, I'm not thinking you'd want to stay there. You'd want to get out of that basket. Now, when we get out of that basket, though, what direction are we going? We going backwards to the last letter, or are we going to go forward to the next letter? That's where our decision comes in. In Arabic, it means something rolled or twisted together. For example, a snake. You ever seen a snake curl up? It's all circled. Its all body's all wrapped around it. It's all curled up all together. It's twisted all together. And that's why Chet represents a snake or a snake in a basket. Because if a snake is in a basket, it has to wrap itself all up within itself or twist itself or roll itself within itself. It comes from the Hebrew root word tayah, which means to bind or to twist. So you see where the Arabic letter comes from the Hebrew letter. And the Hebrew letter coincides with the letter Chet, meaning to bind or to twist. Now you can get a better understanding of the Hebrew root word by reading Exodus chapter 35, verse 25.
And all the women that were wise-hearted did spin with their hands, and brought that which they had spun, both of blue and of purple, and of scarlet and of fine linen.
Okay, so we see here the word tayah, which is the word spin in the scripture. And it means that they're spun with their hands. They weaved with their hands. And we see that the things they used there. The number 9. And where do we see the number 9 in scriptures? Number 9 is prominent in the scriptures, especially in 2 New Testament verses, which are very popular. Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 and 23.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no Torah.
Okay, do you think it's just a coincidence? Yeah, there's 9 fruits of the Spirit. No, there is no coincidences with Yahweh. There's 9 fruits of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, and temperance. Against such there is no law. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 7 through 10. This is the other reference in the New Testament to the number 9.
But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another divers kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues.
Okay, so we see here that there's 9 gifts of the Spirit. Again, is that a coincidence? No. Yahweh purposely put 9 gifts of the Spirit there. The meaning of 9. It deals with judgment or finality of things. Basically, it's used in judging man and all his works. 9 months of pregnancy, where a baby is hidden inside the womb. Interesting, it's 9 months of pregnancy. Again, coincidence? I'm not thinking so. Yahweh in all his wisdom had the woman be pregnant for 9 months. And of course that child is hidden inside the womb. Of course nowadays we have where a person can actually see the baby in the womb. But the baby is hidden in the womb until it is born. The first time that Chet is used in the scriptures. And Genesis chapter 1, verse 4.
And Yahweh saw the light, that it was good. And Yahweh divided the light from the darkness.
Okay, where is the number 9 in this, the first time, where's Chet in the scriptures? It's right here. Good. And you can see it in the Hebrew on the bottom, where I also have it circle highlighted there. It's showing the word good in Hebrew, which is the word Tet. The ancient pictograph. It could mean a choice, a basket, a snake, to surround, to concealed, potential, or good. And that's all the ancient pictograph, what the pictograph could mean. So the letter Tet is the letter of decision. Over and over again, we see in scriptures where somebody had to make a decision. And Yahweh wants us to make a decision. And that letter where it's choose ye this day whom you will serve. In Joshua chapter 24 verse 15. And another scripture, and I believe it's in Jeremiah, says that I put before you good and evil. That we must make a choice. That is what we do. We do it every day of our life. But our greatest decision we have to make, first of all, is to live or not to live for Yahweh. And not to do good or evil. We make decisions every day of our life. And that letter we do is the letter Tet. The letter Tet's like a door hinge between good and evil. If you have a door, like this picture here, you have the door hinge there. Either one side or the other is good and evil. That door hinge is the letter Tet, where you have to make a decision. What side of that door do you want to be on? Good or evil? Psalm chapter 37, verse 23.
The steps of a good man are ordered by Yahweh, and he delighteth in his way.
Okay, the steps of a good man are ordered by Yahweh, and he delighteth in his way. Good. The word good there is the word Tet. Tet. Wa, or the man, or the nail, and we saw that. Zayin, the crowned man, or the sword, and we also saw that one. Except in the middle, you have Tet. So in between the man and the nail, the man and the crowned man, you have a decision. If you want to be a crowned man, you have to make the decision. Again, the scripture in Joshua chapter 24 verse 15. Choose ye this day whom you will serve. Tet. Zayin. Oh, okay. Zayin on the right there. The Wa is bowing to the Zayin. Okay, now if you look at this, I don't have a pointer that I can use, but I'll point it out here. The Zayin on the right there, the Wa right here is represented right here. It's bowing down to the Zayin. So the Wa is bowing down to the Zayin. And of course, they make up the letter Tet. The man's bowing down to the crowned man. And that's what we have to do. We have to bow down to the crowned man, which is Yahweh. We have to humble ourselves. Deuteronomy 30, verse 19.
I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live.
Here's another scripture. Okay, Deuteronomy 30:19. Call heaven and earth against you. Yet life has set before you life and death, blessings and cursings. Therefore choose. Chet. We have to make a choice. We either choose to have life and blessings or death and cursings. It's up to us. Yahweh doesn't force our hand. We're not a puppet on a string where Yahweh manipulates us the way He wants us. He gives us a choice. And that example is over and over again in the scriptures. Yahweh gives us a choice. He in the scripture, life or death, blessings or cursings. Choose. He uses the word choose. Joshua 24:15. This is the one I keep naming off.
And if it seem evil unto you to serve Yahweh, choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the elves which your fathers served, that were on the other side of the flood, or the elves of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve Yahweh.
Okay. Choose ye this day. Yahweh wants us to make a chet, a choice. We all have had one time or another with our back up against a wall. We've had and will continually have to make a chet. That is just a part of life. We always have to make a chet, a decision. I said earlier, daily do we make decisions, a chet. We choose to do something. I choose what I have for breakfast. I choose what I have for lunch. Now these are just minor examples, but it's just showing you that chet, we do that each and every day of our life. But when we get our backs up against a wall, and we get ourselves in that basket of decision, Yahweh leaves us to choose what we're going to do. The first decision, or chet, was Eve in the Garden of Eden. Now, of course, this picture here is depicting Eve grabbing an apple. Scriptures don't actually say what fruit it was that she grabbed. A lot of people say it was an apple, but there is no clear indication as to what it was. But that was the first decision that was made. Of course, this was not a good decision. She chose evil over good. And of course, what happened? They were banished from the Garden of Eden. Galatians chapter 2, verse 20.
I am crucified with Mashiach. Nevertheless I live. Yet not I, but Mashiach lives in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of Elohim, who loved me and gave himself for me.
Okay, I live. This is what we have to be like this right here. I live. Yet not I, but Yahweh Messiah liveth in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the Son of Elohim, who loved me and gave himself for me. You see, we have to get to the point where I live. Not I, but Yahweh that lives in me. I choose to have Yahweh live within me, within my heart, and I live for Yahweh. Now let's look at some words in the Hebrew that are related to the letter Tet. Okay, the letter Tet is used in the Hebrew words of womb or belly. The word is beten. It's the word picture created is for the womb, is the house that surrounds life. Genesis chapter 25, verse 23.
And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall serve the stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Okay, this is the two nations in the Chet, or the womb. Another word is the word safe or trust. The Hebrew word that means to trust or to be safe is batach. The word tells us to be safe, that is, to be inside the surrounding fence. Psalm chapter 125, verse 1.
They that trust in Yahweh shall be as Mount Zayin, which cannot be removed but abideth forever.
Okay, now, be within the fence. If you have a young child and you have a house with a big yard in it, you usually would have a fence around your yard. Why? To protect other animals like dogs from getting into your yard and attacking your child, and to keep your child in the yard, that safe area. That it's always that yard is the safe area as long as you have that fence surrounding you. And that's what this word is. Batach. It also means to go astray or to seduce. The Hebrew word is ta'ah. Ezekiel chapter 13, verse 10.
Because they have seduced my people, saying peace, and there was no peace. And one built up a wall, and lo, others daubed it with untempered mortar.
Okay, so we see here that word is seduced. Yahweh's children were seduced. And that was a great problem in the Old Testament. The children of Yahweh were seduced over and over again, and it always had very bad consequences. Another word is Satan, or adversary. Adversary, or the word for adversary, Satan, is Satan. Okay, Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1.
And he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of Yahweh, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. Okay, now the King James Version there uses the word resist, but that word is also oppose. Isn't that interesting? Seduce. The last word we saw was ta'ah, which meant to seduce. And again, we see it in this scripture for Satan, or Satan in the Hebrew, or the adversary. Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1, where Satan was there to oppose him. An adversary. It also means the word good. The word good is tov. Okay, Proverbs chapter 11, verse 27. He that diligently seeketh good procureth favor, but he that seeketh mischief, it shall come unto him.
Okay, so we see here that who earnestly seeks good, or tov. Some more Chet words. Chet is the 9th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Ta'am, which means to taste or discern. Tava, which means to sink down. Teat, which means mire or mud. Tuma, which means filthiness. The Hebrew word for belly or womb is baten. The word picture created for the womb is the house that surrounds life. The word that means to trust or to be safe is batach. The word picture tells us to be safe is to be inside the surrounding fence. The Hebrew word for to go astray or to seduce is ta'ah. The word picture says that you go astray by twisting of the eye or the twisting of your understanding. The Hebrew word for adversary or Satan is Satan. The word tells us that adversary or Satan is the snake that devours life. He does not give life, he devours it. The Hebrew word for good is tov. The word picture says that good is what surrounds and is inside. The outside and the inside are the same. There are no facets. There are no deception. And that is the end of this evening's study on Chet.
Alice Learning Channel thanks you for watching this video. We hope you were edified by this content. Reach out to us with the information provided on screen, or you may click on the links to view more of our videos. Please subscribe to be notified of new uploads. Until next time, Shalom.